Damn. Welcome to Joe's Atmosphere.
Cook your shrimp, please. All of a sudden, my shrimp pan is burning up like a smoke fest.
All right, boys and girls, welcome aboard. We are here for State of the Atmosphere tonight. And as usual, I've got a few friends with me. To begin with, I got my man Knock. How you doing, man? It helps if you unmute your mic, brother. That helps. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it would help with
How's everything going?
Doing good. Yeah, I wanted to show you this real quick before we got our other guy on. Look at that. I showed him already. I picked
That's
this
what
up
I'm
at
talking about.
yeah, I picked this up at a
Nice.
one of those antique places and antique malls, and they had a bunch of stuff. And I
Now,
saw
if
that.
you
That was one of the
folks
first things I
don't
saw.
know it, he is a fan of the Corona himself,
Yep.
Mr. Knock, and yeah, that's badass, dude.
I couldn't resist. I had to get it.
Oh, if you see another one, grab it. I'll pay for it. I'll
All
pay
right.
for the shipping and everything. If you see another one, let me know. I
All
like
right,
it.
we'll do.
Add it to the bar. Okay, and we've got the best backup quarterback on YouTube. It's Matt from Small Time Republic. How you doing tonight, bud?
Doing good. Glad to
Yeah?
be here.
All right.
I have no Corona accessories
I
or
understand.
Corona itself, so sorry about that.
Well, all I can tell you is I'm a huge fan of the virus of unknown origin. I just am.
Nice.
But tonight we've got a well, I was wondering what to talk about tonight, and I ended up talking to a relative on Facebook today. They had posted one of those, you see these, I don't want to call them memes. They're more like inspirational things that people put up.
Live, love,
And one of them
laugh.
was, it's got one of those dreamy pictures, and it's got a saying, and it sounded like she was in a down mood. And I said, well, forget about all that, And I put up some Tony Robbins stuff, and I said, well, what would be a good discussion tonight is what inspires people. What people, places, and things inspire you, and that's just a picture of a few of them in my corner that I really hold up in high esteem. And none of these people are perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I mean, it could be anything. It could be, a place that you visited that inspires you, a person, an event. I mean, I've got one to show you guys later when it comes to Ray Lewis that it made me a Ray Lewis fan. It was just something else, But I figured that's what we talk about tonight. So
We'll have to do that a little bit later because I'm going to have to think on that one.
you're going to have to think on that one.
That's a tough one to,
Well,
that's a
I
tough
can tell you one quick thing that will inspire you. You saw Steve Largent. If you get an interception and Steve Largent's on the field, you might be inspired to meet the turf.
Yes, you might be
Pretty quickly.
inspired to meet the turf. If you ever watched me and my brother's show, my man, what is that safety's name? That just
He no longer has a name. Yep.
Show it later on. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but yeah, there's a story behind that lick. There's a big story that went on that season behind that lick. I'll show it to you.
Okay. So there was more to it than just.
Oh, there was more to it than yeah, Steve didn't do that to just everybody. Yeah, no. That particular guy had it coming. He lost a few teeth because of that dude. So yeah. But anyway, well, go ahead and think about it, Knock. I'll start laying down mine. Of course, the top of my list has to be this guy right here, Billy Graham. Hang on one second. Let me pull this up real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I want to do that one. Okay. Billy Graham was a televangelist. And if you've never heard this guy speak, even if you're not a Christian, this guy would definitely inspire people. The thing I always loved about it, and he was the spiritual advisor to 6 or 7 presidents. I mean, for a long time. He got started in the late 40s. He was a Southern Baptist minister, and you hear the term televangelist all the time, but he was an evangelist. He wasn't a televangelist. He didn't have a network, anything like that. But he ran these things he called crusades. And it's estimated that, I believe it was estimated at one time that he had reached like 210 million people in his time at doing the crusades that he did. And what I really enjoyed reading about him was that he had actually invited Martin Luther King to speak at one of his crusades, because he was a big guy about anti-segregation. He believed everybody needed to be together under the same tent, And the thing I always loved about him, and of course I grew up a Southern Baptist, but something that not many of these televangelists do, but he did, is at the end of, and anybody that's been to a Southern Baptist church service knows what I'm talking about. He invited those who were moved by what he said to come down and say a prayer with him and give their life over to Christ. He would do it every time at the end of it, So that guy right there, I could listen to all day long. I didn't pull up any of his sermons because, I'm trying to keep this out of the religious realm, but I had to bring him up because he really inspired me. And, there's so many televangelists that, I mean, the best word for them is hypocrite. They would, out to, a lot of them were out to make money for themselves. I mean,
private jets. Yeah.
Send me money for my private jet. That wasn't what he was about. He was about bringing people to their creator, is what he was worried about, and it really showed through. Now, I mean, being best friends with LBJ and Nixon, that wasn't the greatest thing on his resume, but, I mean, when you're running in those circles, you're trying to get as much time in front of the camera, and that was the best way to do it. But he was a religious advisor to several presidents. But yeah, I love that guy. What did anybody? Have you guys ever listened to him? Did you ever listen to him? Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really Knock.
Yeah. I've listened. I mean, I've listened to, I'm sure, at least a couple of his sermons. My grandmother was a big fan of him, and I mean, the one thing that I'll give credit to Billy Graham for is as popular as he is and as high profile as he was for such a long period of time, if there was a scandal involving him, I don't know of it.
I don't know of it either. And he never dropped the ball on that. Now, some people criticize the people he hung with. He got a lot of flack for, of course, we're talking about the late 50s, early 60s. He got a lot of flack for, endorsing Martin Luther King and
right.
But that's the way they run in those circles, though. They believe everybody needs to be in the same tent. Let's all, come together. And, but he got a lot of flack from, a big segment of the population over it. But, I always believed in him because he was not a hypocrite. And that's one of the reasons why, I'm a believer, but I don't go to church every Sunday, because every time I go, there's a hypocrite I run into that I know just doesn't believe what they're saying. You know what I mean? Not the pastor, but and sometimes it is the pastor, but
I think the furthest I ever got was, I'm not a religious guy at all.
Yeah,
really not. I believe there's some kind of higher power. I just don't know what it is. But one of the things that I've always that's just always stuck with me, I guess this is something that's just always stuck with me, was Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
With
the
Steve
second
Carell
one,
and the second one, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman playing God.
Yeah.
And one of the my favorite clips from that movie is when Steve Carell's wife is like leaving with the kids, and she thinks he's gone crazy, and everything. He's on the boat making the ark,
right?
Everything, and so she's sitting at a diner with eating French fries, kids, and then he goes up to and God, Morgan Freeman character goes up to her, and he's like, "Why you down?" Kind of deal, and he says this thing that for whatever reason it just always stuck with me. He's like, "Does God just give you warm fuzzy feelings and make a family come together?" Because that was her wish, was to get the family to be together.
Yeah.
Now, does he just zap you with happy feelings and you just become happy and family and everything, or does he give you an opportunity to become a happy family and all the good stuff? Obviously, it's not verbatim, but that's basically the essence of what he said. Does he give you the opportunity to be good? Does he give you the opportunity to become stronger as a family? Does he give you the opportunity? Does he set obstacles in your ways? And I always felt like that was the more appropriate way to approach it with that whole stuff. And like I said, I'm not religious by any means, but that just kind of always stuck with me, the way he said that.
Right.
Opportunity. He gives you the challenge. He doesn't just make it happen. He gives you the opportunity to do that. And like I said, that's just something that always stuck with me.
Yeah, and I don't remember that movie. I've seen it once, but that's a perfect analogy. It really is, because anybody that walks in the Christian faith at any level knows that prayers are answered. You just don't know how they're going to be answered. It doesn't just pop into existence like that. But it does present itself as opportunities to do what you want to do. It may not happen in a flash, but I believe he puts you where you're supposed to be, and what you do with that is up to you. You have choice. I mean, it's always there. Let's see. Let's say hi to the chat real quick. Teresa's here. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. Epic Glam Goddess. That is my daughter-in-law. Yeah, how you doing? It's good to see you. And then we got E. Clay Thomas. He's sending me emojis, which I can't even read.
It's clearly a pinky wink thing.
Something, yeah. And of course, Foxy's checking in from her meeting tonight. But let's see. Oh, and check it out. Dave's with us. That's Dave's Jedi name. Knock. Argon Kilvari. That's cool. His Jedi name. And he says God helps he who helps himself. Yeah, I believe that. That's for sure. Spiritual assistance is not an ATM. It just removes obstacles. Yeah. Well, you gotta kind of walk in faith, though. I mean, you gotta have faith in it for it to work. It really does. It doesn't happen out of nowhere.
Another way that you can try to rationalize things is, when it does come to God, you could always say His ways are not our ways. So if there's something that you feel you don't understand, you just have to understand that if there is, assuming there is a higher power, He may not be operating on the same wavelength you are.
Right.
So
yeah. Right. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I was saying, don't expect just because you think something logically should happen that it will happen.
Right. Yeah. But the big argument I always hear from people that don't believe are like, why would God let this happen? This mass shooting happen, this kind of thing. And it's not that He's letting it happen. It's people that have, like I said, there's a choice component there, and some people choose not to walk that way, and those of us that do get to pay for it a lot of the time.
I look at it like we're in an ant bed, and we think the only thing that's out there is the ant bed. We don't see the whole yard.
No, there's an entire yard out there. Yeah, no kidding. That's it.
But in terms of like, people that are inspiring, it's often people that have some sort of disability that I'm most inspired by, because believe it or not, they're often the most grateful people.
Mm-hmm.
People that are blind, people that are missing a limb, people that are in a wheelchair, they often are the most humble, the most fervent for whatever positivity that they're trying to put out there. And, as a kid, I used to think that some of that was kind of corny, but the older I get, the more I realize, hey, the ability to overcome things that weren't fair that came your way in terms of any kind of physical issue,
right,
or mental issue or what have you, people that can overcome those and then become people that motivate others, that takes a special talent and a special amount of effort. And I'm always just inspired by those type people.
Yeah, there's a surfer that I really follow quite a bit that had her arm ripped off by a shark.
Yep.
And I can't remember that girl's name, but boy, she is still out there doing it. She is something else. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's funny you mentioned that, because the next guy on my list talks about that too. Let's see. Ruben has stepped into the fray. He is here. It says, not now, but watch my premiere video on the miracle that I witness. It is bigger than, he must be saying bigger than, excuse me guys, sorry about that. Bigger than you can ever comprehend. Hint, it is not a yard. It is a construct of love. Hey man, that's cool. I like that, Ruben. Definitely. We'll check it out. And he says, I am going to do it. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
I got to meet Ruben in Orlando.
Did you?
Good guy.
You?
Yep.
He's a great guy. He's fantastic, man. I call him the Love Doctor, because that thing they do on Matt's show. But man, he has overcome a lot, man, and he has decided his glass is going to be half full for the rest of his life, and I tip my cap to him. Some of the stuff he's had to go through,
and I think he's trying some good gains on his weight loss goals. So
yeah, no doubt. Yep. No doubt. But the next guy I'm going to talk about is Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, but he is one of my favorite guys ever. Of course, you guys know I'm a glass half full guy. I always have been, always will be. And this dude right here, he is one of the most motivational people. Of course, that's what he is. He's a motivational speaker, but he came from nothing, man. If you know the story about him, he came from a abusive home, and when he was 17, he left home and never returned. And he worked as a janitor and didn't go to college. And one day he asked his landlord on site, who was a family friend, about how he became so successful. And the landlord told him that he started to turn his life around after going to a John Ron seminar. And that's where he got his start in motivational speaking. He started promoting seminars by John Ron, and basically took it on himself to do his own thing. His best-selling books, Ultimate Power and Awaken the Giant, are, I mean, like I said, they're huge bestsellers. And this guy, nothing gets him down. And I mean, I couldn't see him being down anyway, because if you've seen him up standing next to somebody, he's a mammoth human being. It's amazing how big that dude is. He should have played basketball in another life, if you ask me. But I got a couple of videos. Let me get them downloaded real quick to show you about this guy. He is, he's one of my favorite motivational speakers ever.
I believe that said one of his books were Unlimited Power. I keep thinking of Palpatine.
Right? Palpatine?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What, I need to refresh this or something? Why can't I sent them and they're not here. Oh no. That's okay.
You know, in Shallow Hal, he was able to get through to Hal. So, I mean,
yes.
He
got through to Shallow Hal, didn't he? Yeah, yep. I forgot about that movie, man. Good Lord.
And I want to say he's
that's Jack Black, isn't it? Shallow Hal? Yeah.
And I want to say that Tony Robbins is a mini giant. I believe that's the term I saw about him one time, like MINI giant, in the terms of he's got something with his pituitary that causes him to be 6'6" or 6'7".
Yeah.
But it's also, his hands and his head are bigger than normal, and his voice is real deep. I think all that is I think there something with the pituitary is driving that.
Right. Yeah, he does have some kind of physical component that makes him like that. Yep.
No, he's inspired a lot of people.
Yeah, he damn sure has, man. This is let's see. Can I get this any bigger? No.
Yeah, they also tried to cancel him at one point.
They did, and I've that's in the article, and I'm going to bring that up. That's what I'm saying. Most of these people are not perfect people. They aren't, but they're very inspiring, man. They really are. Let me see. Let me put this up here. This is one of the things that I follow him on LinkedIn, and I'm always seeing this stuff about him. Let's see. Ruben says, yep, lowest today, 460 going down. Yeah, you go, man. He's talking about his weight. But it's your unlimited power to create and to love that can make the biggest difference in the quality of your life, Tony Robbins. And I love that stuff, but really, when you hear this guy speak, he's not full of shit. He believes in what he's talking about. I got a couple of videos here. Let me, I'm going to have to reshare it, because I'm going to have to add the sound, but I do have a couple of videos here. Hang on one second. Let me set them up. And I know the sound's working because I just heard it. So you guys didn't hear it, but I did. But anyway, have you ever read his books or anything like that, Matt?
I've seen some snippets of some of his seminars. I've never read any of his work. I know that Wes Moody, he's also a member of the fellowship that that he's a big fan of Tony as well.
He's a fan, yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't say disciple. It's not a religion. Not with this guy. He doesn't believe in that crap, man. He really doesn't. It's all about being smart for him. Yep. Let's just hang on. You know what? I reshared it, and I guarantee you I didn't click that button. Guarantee you I didn't. Let me make sure I do it, because I was in a hurry. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's hear some of what he has to say.
It starts with making the most important decision of your life, which is, if I would ask me up until 2 years ago, I would say it's who you spend time with, who you love, because who you spend time with is who you become. I think it's still one of the most important decisions in life. But you can pick the right person and still do things in life to make yourself miserable. So you really have to decide. The most important decision is, will I commit to being happy, but more importantly, happy? Sometimes you'll be so happy you smile so much your face hurts, right? We need variety. Am I committed to a beautiful state, even when it doesn't go my way, even when it rains on my parade, even when my biggest fear shows up? Because I can't control whether your husband or wife will die or get sick or leave you or get a divorce. I don't want any of that to happen to anything. I hate suffering. I do anything I can to help people not suffer. But I can't control that. You can. There are people who've lost their arms, lost their sight. There have been people that have been through the most horrific experiences in life, and they found a way to still be happy because they've made the decision that life is too short to suffer. It starts with.
Yeah, that's this guy's entire message, man. And there's one other video I wanted to share with you guys
I was channeling Tony without even realizing it. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. He said exactly what you were saying. And this one right here, I love. Hang on a second. Let me make sure I get this set up correctly.
That if in order for you to be happy, if everybody.
Here you go.
I want you just for a moment to think about this simple distinction. That if in order for you to be happy, if everybody has to behave a certain way, whether it be your children, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, how many of you are committed to having a life filled filled with joy, gratitude, happiness, love. What screws that up? What takes that away? Expectation. Expecting people to be a certain way. Expecting yourself to be a certain way. What would bring back the beauty of your life? A change in focus. What's wrong is always available, so is what's right. If you focus on what's right, you'll have more of it. It's not about being a positive thinker. That's bullshit. It's about being smart. When you focus on what doesn't work, what you can't control, it does not put you in a beautiful state, does it? But you could change that state how fast? Literally in a heartbeat. So right now, think about, what are you grateful for in your life? If you agree that life is too short to suffer, say I. And all you'd have to do to end the suffering is make a real decision. Every single day, I'm going to live in a beautiful state. That means not that I'm inhuman and I won't get pissed off, I won't get worried, I won't get stressed. It's just I'll catch myself and immediately change it. But I'm going to do that every day because there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something to appreciate. And from that energized state, I can change my life. But from the state of it being broken, it feels impossible.
Yeah, that guy's good. I enjoy what he has to say a lot of the time. I just touched base with him again on LinkedIn. I didn't even know he was on there, and I saw one of his videos up there. That one right there in particular. I was like, yeah, I got to start following this guy again. Because
one thing I took from that was he seems to have the belief, and I think it's solid that if you're doing positive things and you're trying to put yourself in a positive mindset, then that momentum can manifest itself.
Yep.
Into good things happening. Now, again, you're not going to have good things happen all the time, but if you have bad things happen and you're in a good headspace, then you're going to be able to do those bad things more appropriately and faster.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, you guys know, I work for a rehab and a residential rehab. And one of the things is they use a 12-step program, right? And all that program does is teach you how to deal with life's day-to-day problems in a different way, to manage it in a different way, and that's all he's saying. You're still going to get mad. You're still going to get, you're still going to have these feelings that, you're not going to be able to control, but to mentally snap that off and change it and look at it through a different lens, that takes training, that takes, practice. And once that starts happening a lot, all of a sudden it starts snowballing, and you definitely manifest it in your life. Yeah.
I mean, let's say that you're going through depression and you find out that a loved one was just hit by a car and they're in the hospital. That's going to put you in a worse spot if you're already down.
Yeah, no doubt.
In terms of being able to mentally get through, that and handle that. So there's certainly something to that.
Yeah, absolutely. John, how are you? It's good to see you. Das Wolfen joins us.
Yep. Sorry I'm late. I got working on some school stuff and time got away from me.
Hey, man, life happens. You got to deal with it, bro. Got to deal with it. That's what we're talking about. Stuff that inspires you. That's how we're starting the show tonight. But yeah, I've always dug Tony because, like me, he is a glass half full guy. He is always going to lean towards the positive, and he's not going to blow smoke up your ass. You heard him say, you're going to have problems, but the way you perceive it, your expectation, that what he said about expectations is huge. Anybody doesn't understand that. If you're expecting somebody to act a certain way, you can't control that. And that's, that's the hardest thing for an addict to figure out, that they can't control something because they think they have to make everything happen themselves, and that's one of the biggest ruts they get into, anyway, what's up, John?
By Tony, I assume you mean Tony Robbins?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just got done showing him a couple of his videos, a couple of his, I got him off of LinkedIn, but,
I got a person on my list.
Okay, go for it, man.
I'm gonna premise this with, one of my favorite shows of all time is Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Yes.
And one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite shows, besides making me cry of laughter, is I'm a huge fan of improv. Good improv, not that shit.
Yes.
That they do,
Right.
pick a building, and you got Ted in the crowd, picking 9/11, kind of shit. I mean, like good improv, and and one of the best improv specialists of all time was Robin Williams, and I get from him. I aspire to be that kind of, I'm always trying to crack a joke here or there, because I really like being able to make people laugh depending on the crowd. You kind of go with the crowd, who you have around you, and cater to that, and
and you do a deadpan. That's your style, deadpan, and it's really good.
So I just try to, and that's one of the things I like to do is I like to make people laugh. Just because it makes me feel better when I make people laugh, and when I can't, I don't like that person. I don't want to be around them.
Right.
If you don't have a sense of humor, I don't want to be around you. If I can't crack a joke, if you can't take a joke, obviously I'll try to cater to the certain jokes towards folks to make them laugh, but in general, I'm just trying to make everyone happy, in my way. And improv is one of my favorite ways to do that. I'm not a stand-up comedian in any kind of way, but I do like to. My approach is to try to think of things that people don't normally think about, off the bat. Kind of just to make the joke. So
that's why you're always playing devil's advocate. Okay, now I know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I always try to think outside the box, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Just to, get different perspectives on things, and playing devil's advocate. I'm always going to look for the other side, even if I agree with the one side.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that about you. Sometimes I think you're doing it just to troll people, man.
Well, but I also, I like to. I'm not that great at it, but I like to make people think about the other side. Yeah. That's one of the things where I don't consider myself one side of the spectrum politically. I might lean a little bit more one side, but I don't discount the other side. I think that everyone has more to learn about one side or the other. I don't think everything's black and white. I don't think it's necessarily gray either. I think there's a combination out there that works, but we're not there yet. So, it's just.
Well, I got news for you, Knock. You say you don't lean one way politically or another. Guess what? 75% of the population is like that. You know what I'm saying? 75% of the population isn't right wing or left wing.
I definitely do lean more one side, but because the other side's just absolutely nuts. But it's just not to judge, But no, it's just I just think, and it's really funny because when you not to get into the political side of everything, but both sides just tend to say the same things about each other.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. The other side's crazy, conspiracy theories, and they both say it about each other. Like I've listened to both sides of it. That's what I try to do. I try to listen to both sides. I try to look up the reason behind their thinking, or one side of the thinking. And I've even gotten to the point where I've stopped listening to the talk radio in the morning, because it's just
good for you.
Same
good for you.
Shit.
Do your own research, bro.
And
if you see a headline, check it out yourself.
The problem is one side will see something that the other side does that's wrong, and then they'll just stick at it.
And they'll signal boost it. Yeah.
Just beat the dead horse until nobody cares about it.
Everybody on the right side loves Sean Hannity. I can't listen to him because all he does is hammer the same talking points. He likes to bring up talking points, and he hammers talking points constantly.
Did you know I don't like Hannity at all.
Yeah. It's just, I agree with him politically a lot of the time, but, it's kind of like Rush Limbaugh. That guy right there, God love him, peace to him, rest in peace, but I never was a fan because he was so arrogant. Nobody is going to follow you if you think your shiza don't stink. I think
that was part of his gimmick too.
Yeah, it was part of his gimmick.
That was definitely. There was people that were following to the grave.
Oh yeah, they did, no doubt. I know.
Agree with everything you said.
I just couldn't listen to him.
So polarizing.
I couldn't do it. I was like,
people are attracted to polarizing figures, and the loudest ones always, get the last word.
A lot of people were inspired by him, just not me. That wasn't the signal that I was catching on to. You know what I mean?
I think it was inspiring in the sense that he paved the way for a lot of guys.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. There wouldn't be a Sean Hannity without him.
Or Bill O'Reilly, or
a Bill O'Reilly. Yeah. These guys that got those hour-long shows on television. No, I I tell you, one of the ones I love. What's that girl's name? She's got jet raven hair, black hair. She's a big gun advocate. I think she wrote a book where she's in like this gorgeous red dress, and she got an
is it Dana Lausch?
Yeah.
Lash. It's pronounced Lash.
It's pronounced Lash. Okay.
Yeah, it's pronounced Lash. Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking
Greta
about.
Thunberg? No.
If you've ever right.
How dare you?
Dare you? Dare you? But if you've never listened to her radio show, listen to her radio show. You like Comedy Knock? She is funny. She comes at it with a funny slant. She likes to crack jokes. My favorite segment she does is Florida Man. That shit.
How dare you?
There it is.
Nice.
But her Florida Man stuff is
asleep.
great. It's fantastic. Oh man.
Well, Greta did tell us the world was going to end in 2023, so we still got.
No,
Yes,
hang
we're
on.
What?
That tweet was deleted. So.
Oh, so it didn't happen.
Oh,
I got you.
okay.
Yeah. So.
And now she's getting an honorary degree.
You mean she didn't get Twitter
Yeah.
Blue? She can't just edit it to like 2033 or something like that? She can't do that? Oh, okay.
Have you ever noticed how the apocalypse is always 5 years from whatever the current date is?
Whatever the current date is. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
But
That's for
talking
sure.
about talking head, I like Greg Gutfeld.
Gutfeld has turned out to be pretty good. I was watching him on the 5 a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
And I thought he was the funniest dude on that panel. I thought he was great. And now he's got his own show. It's
I
damn
used
awesome.
to watch him like at 2:00 in the morning on Red Eye.
Yeah, the Red Eye. I was saying the 5, but that late night show, that was the name of it?
Yeah, Red Eye.
Red Eye? Yeah.
I
he
started
was
watching The
fantastic.
View. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, good Lord. The View actually was a good show when it first came on. That was a good show. You had
Well,
Fine
not as
until they
bad.
got political.
Walters had an eclectic mix, though. You know, it was when the main host, I can't remember her name, but she went on to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's when that show went to shit.
Yeah, Meredith Vieira.
Meredith Vieira.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep. When she left that show, that's when it went to shit. That's when everybody on the panel went left. And what was it? Wasn't it one of the Hasselback's wives that was on that show for a little bit?
Yeah.
And they had her as the token right winger, and they
Right.
kept slamming her every show, right? Oh my god!
Which is why
that
she's
was-
no longer on that
she's
show, I guess.
no longer on that show. Yeah, she
It's
was
why
like,
every conservative token person doesn't last on that
No,
show
no, they
because
don't.
they get burned out.
Yep, absolutely. It's hell having to fight 4 women every day. I mean, come on, you know. But anyway,
You good, Joe.
oh, what we got here, bro? What we got?
Hey, Stewie, 3 o'clock. Time for The View. No, not again!
Nice. Largent.
I can't watch another second!
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. God almighty. What great timing. That's great.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, look, while you guys are still compiling your what inspires you,
I am the supreme ruler of the neighborhood of make-believe.
yes. I've got one more guy that and like I said, that before we get off of Tony Robbins, though, I did want to tell people about what Matt was referring to. He was canceled recently. Robbins was criticized for comments alluding to the Me Too movement at a seminar in San Jose, California on March 15th of 2018. If you use the hashtag Me Too movement to try to get significance and certainty by attacking and destroying someone else, all you've done is basically use a drug called significance to make yourself feel good. And he said a few other things. He ended up apologizing later on, but that's what Matt was referring to, the cancellation back in 2018. But yeah, this guy right here is the dude.
My game?
Yeah, your game. That's it. No, this guy right here, I would follow through a wall. There's certain players that have played in the NFL that I just think are really inspirational people. Now, we all know what happened during the Atlanta Super Bowl in 2000.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, and he ended up doing a little jail time because he didn't want to talk. Did not want to say what happened that night, and he ended up getting cleared of obstruction of justice. But one of the things that they made him do as his penance, the NFL did, they made him tour college campuses and talk to guys that were trying to get in the NFL and let them know, hey, you may want to think about who you bring with you to the next level. You know, as far as, because it was friends of his he was out with that night. And it got him in trouble big time because a couple people got killed, and it was not cool. But he turned that around. He became a very inspirational person, and I just have to show this. I'm sorry, Knock. I know it has to do with your football team. I'm sorry. I know it has to do with them, but let me get this going on the correct screen so I can try and stay out of the copyright problem here. But this happened. Now let me set this up. This was 2 years after they won the Super Bowl in 2002. This team hadn't won a game yet. I think they were 0-3 or 0-4 at this time. It was on September 30th on Monday Night Football, and they were playing the Broncos. And there was just something different about that team that night. They weren't playing very well. Of course, first thing they did when they won the Super Bowl, they broke the first commandment, really. Thou shalt not cut a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And they had signed Elvis Gerbach from the 49ers thinking they were upgrading at that position. And they suffered for that, you know. And this season was the second with Gerbach, and they weren't winning any games. But if you watch this game, everybody that touched the ball for Denver that night was paying for it, man. They were getting hit. It was kind of like the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl. It was, and these guys hadn't played like that yet this season. Okay. So, but this play right here is what made me a Ray Lewis fan. Let's just watch. This is at the end of the half.
It's a great kicker right there.
Yeah, it is.
But I missed that. It kind of jumped a little bit. Did Ray Lewis scoop up the ball in the end zone?
Just watch. Yeah, just watch. You'll see. He's the one that sprung it. He's the one that talked him into coming out of the end zone. He wasn't going to come out of the end zone. Look, he's not going to come out. Yeah. Then all of a sudden he starts going, right? Now wait till you see what Ray did to that guy right there.
So one thing I don't like, and you see it in college and pros, when they'll call that a blindside block.
Yes, that's bullshit.
If you get chest, it's not blindside.
No.
Nice.
Look at Brian Billick.
Billick getting after it. Billick looks more like someone's dad than a football coach.
Yeah, he did. But what was great about it was, I mean, they won the game, obviously, but they hadn't won a game yet that season. And they Melissa Stark, I wish I could find that footage. I've been looking for it all afternoon. But I remember the interview. Melissa Stark is the one that interviewed him after the game, right? And
by the way,
go ahead.
Still got it. Melissa Stark, she still got it.
Oh, she still got it. Of course she does. Yes, absolutely. But she's interviewing him after the game. She said, "Look, you guys haven't played like this all season. What's going on?" He said, "Look, I came in there before the game. I got rid of the coaching staff. I got rid of everybody else. It was just the players. he said, and yeah, I found that picture earlier today. Knock, I had that picture, but I could not find the interview anywhere. But he told her, he said, I got everybody out. It was just us players, and I told him, match my passion, and we'll win this game. And that's what they did. Every Bronco that touched the ball that night got beat up. It was ugly. It was not nice at all. And they scored. I think they had a punt return in that game too. And I mean, it was just, they scored just about every way you could score in a football game in that game. But I was when I saw him, when I saw all that stuff and I saw the replay and the interview and everything, I was like, man, that's my kind of player right there. You know, I am not a Ravens fan now, but I rooted for him. As long as they weren't playing the Patriots, I rooted for him every time, you know, because of Ray Lewis. I was rooting for Ray Lewis, you know. And I still think, you know, if you follow him on Instagram, he puts something up every once in a while, and it's always motivational. He'll be riding his bike or something to tell you about how great the day is, you know, go out and seize it. I mean, he sounds like he could strap him back on and go out there and lead a team again. You know what I mean? Anytime he wanted to. I always wanted to see him become either a coach or a reverend, one of the two, because he could do either. You know what I mean? So that's my list of guys that I think I'm really, you know, inspired by. Of course, you know, that's right. I got to pull up that Steve Largent one for you. That's right. I am a Steve Largent fan. I really dig Largent because he was a little guy. He wasn't fast, anything like that. He just outworked everybody. He was kind of like Larry Bird. You know what I mean? He just outworked everybody. He wasn't, you know, super great at any one thing. He had a will to win, and he wanted to win every time he stepped on the football field, you know?
You mentioned Billy Graham earlier. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that Franklin Graham has also done a lot.
Yeah, I haven't followed him as much as his father, but I'm sure he has. I feel confident he has. Let's see. You guys can't hear that, can you? I hope not.
No.
Are you saying Largent is a gym rat? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Let's see. Do I have it on that list? That's the entire sequence, but I want the NFL film story about it. I'll pull it up real quick. Steve Largent.
Now, were you a Seahawks fan going
Day
way
one.
back?
Day one. I was 11 years old when them and the Buccaneers joined the NFL. And I flipped a coin. It was the first time I'd ever seen expansion. I think each team at the time had to give up 5 players for the expansion draft. And they actually changed the rules of that when the Panthers and the Jaguars came in, because when they did it the first time, every team had to put in 5 players, and they pretty much put the dregs of their rosters in there. And, you know, they didn't have any rules for that. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, but when the Panthers and the Jaguars came in, they had to put up at least a couple of players that were worth a shit, I think, in that expansion draft. I don't remember exactly, but let's see, Steve Largent.
And that may have been why both were able to be contenders fairly quickly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They changed the way that draft went. Yeah, here it is. I got it right here. Hang on.
Yeah, the Buccaneers especially, it took them a while to get going.
It did. I mean, I believe to this day they are still. Let me let this ad play through here. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I am all set, fellas. Let me get this up there for you. All right. Yeah, this is the history of that lick that you see on my show every week, of him dislodging an interception. Let's see. Here you go. This is the full story.
By the way, Dave Craig may be a little underrated.
Yeah, most definitely. That was the second quarterback that he kind of like Jerry Rice after him, you know, had 2 great quarterbacks he played with. This guy played with 2 guys that were pretty good, Zorn and Craig. The knock on Craig was his hands were too small. And he's at one time he had the league record for the most fumbles. But he set a lot of Seahawks passing records too, you know. Okay, here we go.
By the way, we don't have audio.
You don't have audio?
No.
Okay. Hang on. We will start this over then. I thought it was still on. We're going to get there though. Do. And pull this back and share with the button clicked this time.
It was a 12-yard post route in Denver. Dave Craig didn't look off the safety.
Craig on a play fake to Warner, back to pass, drills one up the right side.
It hit me right in the hands, and Mike Harden hit me right in the face with his forearm. And I was out before I hit the ground.
Largent is down after taking that hard shot to the head by Harden.
Like I said, he had that coming, buddy.
Largent took a mean lift.
Orange Crush.
You don't lead a
Yeah,
guy
they were great.
like that. That was one of the more violent collisions I've seen.
Mike Harden broke a couple of his teeth off. Wicked. Cheap shot, in my estimation.
Knock approved.
Fine Mike Harden for it.
And Steve Largent right now is laying on his back at the 40-yard line.
His eyes are still closed. I think he's out on the field.
I was watching on TV with my mom. He got knocked unconscious, and I think we were pretty concerned. He was out for 5 minutes. I remember being scared.
"14 weeks later, Largent faced Mike Harden again. Neither logic nor reason can explain what happened next.
Craig looking at blade selection, throws it to him too long, it's picked up by Harden.
Mike Harden intercepts a pass. You're watching this play. In comes this streak, and it's Steve Largent.
Obliterated. And made him fumble.
Forces a fumble.
And he recovered it.
You ever seen a movie and everything kind of fast forwards to that moment, and then all of a sudden it's in slow motion?
He didn't even see him coming. That was awesome.
I never seen Steve get up and talk smack to somebody, but he did that one.
Paybacks are heck in this business.
He has good karma. Perfect redemption. That's so Yoda.
Steve will want to put that over his mantle, right on the fireplace.
I did not know Largent was Yoda.
He's ever made.
That was the play, I would say, is my favorite play of my NFL career. A tackle, not a catch.
That's my man. That's why his jersey's hanging on my wall. That's right. Love him.
That's awesome.
A wide receiver whose favorite play he ever had was a tackle.
I never knew there was a backstory to that. Wow.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, there was a big story behind that.
I need to find some clips of Seattle throwing it on the goal line instead of running it with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, you do. You need to.
I mean, a lot of your inspiration comes from things happening to the Broncos.
I know.
I'm not a fan of this.
Hey, man, you weren't even watching. I don't even know if you were alive when that play happened. I don't know. That was like 1987, 88, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, love me some Steve. He was fantastic.
Did he get into politics at some point?
Yes, he was a Republican representative from Oklahoma, his home state, and he actually, I saw him give a couple of rebuttals to Bill Clinton, I think it was, or maybe might have been Obama. It was one of the Democratic presidents. It might have been Obama's first couple of years. He was the guy. He was the Republican they put up there to rebut. You know how they always have a rebuttal guy that gets up there for the Republicans and after the State of the Union address, right? And yeah, he did that a couple of times. Yeah.
But, I think he did his time and got out.
Yeah.
Which other politicians should
wish a lot of them would do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he did his stuff and he got out. Yep. Politics really ended up not being his thing. But then again, from what I understand and the stories I've read about him and stuff, he's really an OCD guy. And so he's not really he would not go well in that environment for very long. You know what I mean? He wants things done a certain way, and it's just not going to happen his way. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was my list of the guys that really inspire me. What about you guys? Who do you have on your list? Or it could be anything. I mean, there's certain points in movies that just, I've always said that the first 3 Star Wars movies, there's a moment in every one of those flicks where the hair stands up on the back of my neck, I get goose flesh. I'm like, oh yeah, it's on and popping, right?
When you see 3POs disassembled, you're like, yeah. I mean,
that's it, right? Let me see. Gap After Dark is here. How you doing, buddy? He's saying hi to everybody. Okay. But what about you guys? Who inspires you guys? What things inspire you?
You talk about a movie, and again, it's some people think it's kind of hokey.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy, I think that movie has inspired me. I'm a big college football fan.
Yeah.
So,
well, man, I don't
nothing
know
wrong
if
with
anyone
that.
tells you this, but that's pretty hokey.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's always I've always enjoyed it.
You know what movie I go back to, sticking with the football inspirational movies, is Invincible.
Invincible's a fantastic movie.
I love that movie.
Yes,
I love that. The paper that he carries around from his ex-wife that basically says you are nothing, you will always be nothing.
Right.
And he carries that with them, and like even the NFL players that are trying to make the roster with them see that in his locker, and they're like, "Damn, that's cold as ice," and and it's just, man, and that true story.
Yeah.
Crazy thing
it is a true story, and hey, you got to give it to him. The guy, I mean, everybody, half the dudes that thought they could play football in Philly went and tried it out for that team when they had that open tryout. And he was just trying to inspire somebody, man. It's what he was doing. And, let me see. Let me test my old brain. It's Dick Vermeil, right? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
The coach?
The coach. Yeah.
Former coach of the Chiefs.
Super Bowl with the Rams. But, when he was with Philly, he took them to a Super Bowl. It's just he had Ron Jaworski as his quarterback, so that was his downfall. He was the first guy to take him to a Super Bowl. But I like Dick Vermeil. My wife calls him the Crier. When she first started watching football, he was the head coach of the Rams, and he gets emotional, man. He does. He just starts bawling every time he gives an emotional speech or press conference. I mean, I'll never forget, man, that press conference he held after Trent Dilfer went down, or not Dilfer, but Trent Green when he went down. When he said, we're going to rally behind Kurt Warner and we'll play good football. He looked like he was going to bawl at that press conference. You know what I mean? But that just shows you he was passionate. That's how he showed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, older guys like Pete Carroll, they jump up and down like they're 20 again. Of course, he only gets about an inch off the ground when he jumps, but but what about you, Das Wolfen? What inspires you, my brother?
Well,
besides the Chiefs winning every other year.
Well, yeah, that's
no, that just makes him happy.
It's.
Oh, wait till the movie comes out; it's gonna be great. Plot twists everywhere.
As long as they don't have M. Night Shyamalan directing, I'll be good.
That guy.
Or Ryan Johnson subverting expectations.
Oh, wow. Do we need to make an motivational list?
It's going to be Michael Bay. There's going to be lots of explosions.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
All I know is that in the Mark Wahlberg M. Night movie, whatever it was called, Happening or...
The Happening.
Yeah.
Hashtag Happening.
There is a scene where Mark Wahlberg and I believe his family may have been with him, he's running through a field. And the wind is carrying whatever that airborne virus is that's driving people
making
mad.
people whack themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's able to outrun the wind in the field.
That's what I'm talking about. Only Wahlberg could do that.
One of the more ridiculous scenes I've ever seen. And I don't know. I'm not an M. Night guy.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't anybody famous or anybody, like that.
Doesn't have to be.
It's my grandfather. He was, first of all, he was, decorated World War II veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Was in the 20th Armored. Was at the Battle of the Bulge.
So was my grandfather. Yep. They probably chewed the same turf, buddy, with Patton. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But no, he's people talk about how Christians are supposed to be, but you don't find very many that actually live that life.
Yeah, they're few and far between. Absolutely. Yep.
But my grandfather was.
Yeah.
And we lost him a few years ago at 102.
Wow.
So yeah, lived a nice long life.
Yeah. There's not many of those vets left. I mean, my grandfather that was with Patton, he died in his 80s, a while back. But nothing wrong with that, man. And you're right. There are few and far between. About the only person I know of that lives that kind of life. He passed away not too long ago, and I was asked to be a pallbearer at his funeral. It's my buddy Mark's dad, and I know him as Mr. Peck. But when I went to be the pallbearer at this guy's funeral, I swear to God, I was at Captain America's funeral, dude. It was crazy. This guy at the age of 15 lied 3 times trying to get in the Marine Corps during World War II. Okay. And his father finally let him join the military, but he said, look, you're just not going to be a Marine. I'm not going to let you do that. You're going to join the Navy. And he ended up becoming a pilot for the Navy. And he ended up fighting and switched services to the Air Force later on. And he ended up fighting in, 3 wars? World War II, Korea, and Vietnam? I mean,
wow.
I was like, wow, I'm sitting here at Captain America's funeral. And he was one of those guys. He always had something inspirational to say to you. And it always was in the form of something religious, Every time they had Mark late in life. He was the baby of the family. And I think he was in his mid-40s when I first met him. And we were, 6, 7 years old. And I'm hanging out over his house, Yeah. And, I'll never forget the guy. Always positive. I know exactly the kind of person you're talking about. If there was a person in my life that's inspirational to me, it's my father. I mean, I've always told people, if I end up half as well off as he is, then I'll be doing good. And he's not rich. What I mean is the quality of his life.
Yeah.
He's the guy. You guys have heard me say this before. His idea of retirement was taking a job at a golf course, being the marshal at the golf course on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so he can play all he wants during the week. That's his retirement. Yeah. He knows how to get what he wants out of life. Yeah. And I try and do the same thing. So, I'm trying to emulate it, but yeah. What about you, Matt? Who do you find inspiration from, dude? Where do you draw inspiration from?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's not necessarily just, one particular person. Whenever I hear people speak that have overcome things in their life, I'm always inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about different veterans. I did have a great uncle that he served in World War II, and he passed away just a few years ago. And his funeral was an inspiring thing to go to. It was out in the middle of the country in a small little church, and just to hear people talk about the life that he lived. it was that people like him have inspired me. So, but yeah, I wouldn't say I have just any one particular hero, above others, but just a lot of different people.
Yeah. What you got there, Knock?
Yeah, well, because we were discussing World War II, one of my favorite shows is Band of Brothers, and this end interview was the very last scene you get in Band of Brothers, and this one, especially when I'm drinking beer or something like that, this will get me very emotional.
Yeah.
I cherish the memories of the question my grandson asked me the other day. He said, "Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?" And I said, "No." I'm sure he was.
And you could just, this is after seeing everything. And obviously, they can only capture so much in a movie, TV show, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could see just from that, like he's remembering all of it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
He's remembering every second, everything about it. The people that he lost, the things that they saw, just everything in that moment. And it's just, we just can't imagine it these days. Not for real.
Can't.
But everything is. This country, this world, you can say, has been desensitized, just through film and ignorance, and just, we don't have moments like these anymore. You talk about, Joe, people that inspire you, and I might have a couple, folks that, kind of do that for me, but we don't live in an era of inspiration anymore as much, I think.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is in this day and age is, at some point you're going to get canceled. At some point, something's going to come out about you.
Right.
I think if you took your greatest heroes and in the past,
people look at things through a very
internet,
cynical lens now. Yes, absolutely.
And how much would have came out, earlier if they had Twitter in the 1800s?
Oh my God! Yeah.
I always think about that. It's like, what if you had it in every century? If you had Twitter, how different things would be.
You know what I need to do? I need to clip.
Jackson would not have made it far.
What is it? Say that again, Matt. You kind of zoned out there. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. Andrew Jackson would not have made it very long.
No, he wouldn't have.
Yep.
No. Yeah, he'd have been canceled quick. But I think that everybody, like I said, looks through things at a very, very, very cynical lens now. And I'm going to have to clip out that scene in The Wizard of Oz while they pull the curtain back. Because that's basically what all these social media things have done, especially when it comes to Hollywood types, that they used to be put on a pedestal. These are the big movie stars and stuff. There are no big movie stars left because they've all been brought down to earth by social media and by themselves. Yeah, there may be one or two left that have some mystique about them because they're not on social media, right? And even Cruise, people think he's a flake, but they understand that when he's going to make a movie, he's going to put his nuts in it, and it's going to be fucking awesome, right? They know he's going to go all out to make a flick.
Also, Tom Cruise, you don't see him get on social media and complain about traffic or what he had for breakfast or
no.
He doesn't get caught up.
He doesn't bring himself down to that. And I think, to his credit, a lot of these people need to shut the hell up. I've been seeing stories for the last week about Jenna Ortega being a pain in the ass on set or some shit like that. And I just broke my heart, man, because I loved Wednesday. I loved that show, and now I find out that she's a pain in the ass.
Well, and I did hear a little bit. The context that I heard was that they were the people that were talking about her were trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, saying that she was trying to speak up for her character. And if she felt like there was a line she was given for Wednesday Addams that just was totally out of character, that she was trying to, to rebut that if she could. So if that was the case,
then okay, that's
give a little
cool.
slack.
Yeah.
But
they're blowing it out of proportion if that's the case. That's for sure.
They had a that kind of reminds me of a scene, and I don't know if any of you guys watched The Office, but there was a
Which one, the British or American?
The only one that matters.
The British one.
The British
one that lasted more than 2 seasons. There's a moment where it just kind of reminded me of this. There's a moment where, so the thing is that Jim and Pam get together, right? At some point, and there was Jim Halpert, what's his name?
Kaczynski.
Kaczynski, yeah. He fought again because there was a moment where the writers had put in that he cheats on Pam, and he's like, "No, we're not doing that. That's not a Jim thing to do."
Right.
So I'm not going to act that. So that just came up, and I've heard of actors doing that.
Yeah.
Where they're like, this isn't
an actor worth their salt would stand up for their character. That's what
they ended up not doing it. So.
That's what makes what Matt was saying about Jenna Ortega. It sounds like they're blowing it out of proportion if that's the case. I don't really know. I haven't. I just saw the headlines. I haven't read it. I don't know. But yeah. Any any actor worth their salt will stand up for their character if they think they're being wronged. And but correct me if I'm wrong, that show was canceled the season after those two got together, right?
It went on a few more seasons.
Did it go on?
No. The Office was done because Steve Carell was no longer on it.
Okay, is that what it was?
It had a slow death.
Because a lot of these shows,
it had a slow death after that.
My wife has a big. My wife digs Bones. Okay, that's her. I like to call these things mindless TV. When we sit down to watch television, okay, what do we got to watch tonight? You got something on the DVR? Okay, let's check out your stuff. I check and see. I got Mandalorian tonight. I got. What's the other one I'm watching? Picard. I got a new Picard episode tonight, right?
Mandalorian was only a half hour this week, so disappointing.
Really?
Wait,
only
I want to point out that
less than a half hour.
Joe, you said your wife digs Bones.
Bones, the TV show.
Okay, the show. Okay,
the TV show. No, my wife is not a bitch.
Stop taking my role here, Matt. All right, so
right?
Randy Travis digging up Bones. Sorry,
digging up Bones, man. But yeah, she loves that one. But and it's got a guy and girl main characters, and they've got an unrequited thing until they get together later on. And that one lasted quite a bit after they had a kid and everything. Yeah. But the one I watched, the one I like that is Castle, Nathan Fillion's show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig that show. And that one ended when they put those two together. It was over. They might as well just canceled it the second they did it.
It had a good run anyways. I think it was like 7.
It did.
So yeah, I think it was. I think once you get to season 6 and 7, you're getting ready to pretty much be done anyways.
Well, since we're talking about television, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next subject tonight, and that's the current fare of streaming stuff. And I'm looking for you guys to clue me in on some of the stuff you're watching, and I'm going to clue you in on some of the stuff I'm watching. And I want to stay away from spoilers. I just want to get, broad strokes, how you're feeling about these shows. I just got done with Carnival Row. I hate the fact they ended it, but I thought they did a great job of wrapping it up. I don't know if any of you guys are watching it, but
couldn't get into it.
Yeah, and you told me that, and it's a shame. It's a good show. I enjoyed it, but I thought they wrapped it up well. Picard, I just got caught up on that last night. Me and Rhonda watched that. We had only watched like the first episode of it, but man, I got caught up on all the other 4. And boy, if you're a Star Trek fan, you need to be watching that show. I had heard everybody saying it's good. Just forget about the other 2 seasons of it. Forget about Discovery and all the other shit they've made. It's obvious that the dude that's making this show enjoys Star Trek because first of all, he's bringing damn near every character into it from that universe, and in ways that are really, really cool. I just, I just got done catching up on it last night. Like I said, I got to watch the new one tonight. But man, looking forward to it. I'm gonna hate to see this end. It's good shit.
CBS Plus isn't on my list right now, so I usually rotate that.
Paramount. You said Paramount Plus. Is that what you're saying?
Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess last time I saw Discovery, I actually kind of dug Discovery. Was when it was still a separate channel, not Paramount Plus quite yet. It was still CBS Plus at that time. And no, I actually kind of dug, and then it was before Picard had came out as well. But I don't know, I dug Discovery. I think I finished the first season of it. Some kind of crazy multi-dimensional travel that they went into. It was really crazy.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking TV shows, why I haven't watched Carnival Row yet?
Uh-oh. You want me to put it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
your catch-up list?
It's my to-watch list.
Wow, you're not caught up on Fear the Walking Dead? Really?
Nope.
Wow, that's amazing.
I started watching it. I still can't get into it. So I don't know if I'll ever watch Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I've just got so many shows that I'm somewhere on.
Yeah.
That I haven't finished.
Yeah. I hear you. But yeah, that's just a couple of them. The Mandalorian. It's okay. I don't know.
Nothing's really.
It's not grabbing me this time around, man.
And then, like I said, this latest episode, we waited a whole week for just 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was a cool episode itself, but I mean, there's just nothing happening right now.
Episode 3 it diverges from the main
and then you
story.
come back, and then you I don't know.
I liked episode 3 though.
25.
Did you?
I like the lore. Yeah, you don't get that's what kept me going on. Which one was it? Andor. That's what pulled me into Andor.
Yeah, and Andor had a lot of the backstory.
They went to Coruscant. Yeah. It was so cool seeing how things were. It was cool seeing how former Imperials were being reprocessed into civilization.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. So we never saw that ever in any context. Yeah. Even in the legacy books, there's for any of the legacy books, it was just they were just let in, forgiven, kind of.
Let's see. Eclay says, "Did you watch 12 Monkeys?
Yes.
If you like Picard season 3, you'll really like it." Wow. Okay. Cool.
12 Monkeys was a good show. Really good show. Time travel.
I never watched the show. I love the movie. I love the movie, man. When people tell me that Brad Pitt can't act, I say, okay, I want you to watch 2 movies. I want you to watch Snatch, and I want you to watch 12 Monkeys and tell me that guy can't act. Give me a break. I want to know how he did what he did with his eye in 12 Monkeys all the time. I couldn't do that. There's no way.
He was also
one
good
of them
7.
pointing towards the middle, Well, 7, I mean, 7, he's Brad Pitt. He's a tough guy, but he's not that in either one of those movies right there. You can't even understand what the fuck he's saying in Snatch, man. Oh my God, he's hilarious in Snatch. My God, that's great. But
this TV show is it's a sci-fi show. It's a time traveling TV show.
What's that now?
12 Monkeys.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the movie. I figured it had the same premise. Yeah.
It had nothing to do. Well, I don't know. I don't know what 12
Yeah, they were traveling through time in that one too.
Oh, okay. I guess it is.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
It's a good movie. It's really good.
I'll check it out.
One of Bruce Willis's it's a different movie for him. He's not the action star. He's actually doing some acting in it. He's a broken dude, and it's what he is, man. And they're using him to go to the past to try and find a cure for a virus in the future, And
that's basically Okay.
Yeah, it's the same premise, I'm sure. Yeah. And you just have to see it, man. It's really,
4
really
seasons,
good.
so it was good. I watched it when it came out.
If you like Terry Gilliam, if you've ever watched any of his stuff, Time Bandits,
isn't he kind of out there, Terry Gilliam?
Yeah, he is way out there. Brazil, friggin', he makes some wild stuff, and he's the one that did 12 Monkeys.
You know what my favorite time shows? or time movies, Time Cop.
Time Cop's good, dude. I dug
Yeah,
that show.
I loved it. When they
Excuse me,
touch
the
each other, they
movie.
explode. It's great. I loved it. Like, don't ever touch yourself in the past.
Right? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's a key rule. If you ever
do not do it, you will be eradicated immediately.
You will blow up.
Blast. Yep. But I tell you what, if you like good TV, though, I know you used to be a fan of Law and Order and procedurals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You need to, when you're done with whatever you're watching, you need to go ahead and get Paramount Plus, because there's a guy named Taylor Sheridan that is writing half the shows on that channel now. Yeah. That, from what I understand, I have not watched any of them, but he's the guy behind Yellowstone, all the spinoffs of Yellowstone, the King of, what's the one Jeremy Renner's in? The King of what?
Mayor of Kingstown.
The Mayor of Kingstown, and Stallone's new one, Tulsa King. He writes all of these, and from what I understand, they're great shows, dude.
I need another really lawyer show. All my good ones are gone.
Yeah.
Suits.
Did you watch
By the way, happy birthday.
She-Hulk?
What's that?
Yeah, She-Hulk?
She-Hulk was great.
Really?
She-Hulk.
I like She-Hulk. Yeah, I thought
it was.
Now,
something.
granted, I did watch it when I was drinking, but I enjoyed it.
Go.
It made me crack up. It always did, and that could have been the booze, but then like the chemistry between her and Daredevil was awesome.
I had to step away and pick up a package.
Oh yeah, you go, man. What'd you get? Anything good?
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. Unveiling right here live, folks. What's he got?
Bizarro Daredevil. And
swear to God, if it's a poster of them beating the Broncos, I'm gonna.
Right? It's the Chiefs Broncos Cup. Stomping on the Broncos.
It's McKinnon getting a huge pass.
No,
it's a Chief shooting a Bronco with an arrow.
Yes. They got him freaking bubble wrapped to hell. Got like 2 kinds of bubble wrap on it. But I understand it, but they're just
what is
baking cups.
Oh, yeah.
Like
my wife uses those all the time. I keep my limes in one of those on my bar.
Or something?
Yeah. They're for making souffles and stuff, right?
Yeah. Except I'm going to use
ceramic.
Yeah. They're 4 ounces, and they're just the size of a meal for me.
Kick ass.
So I've got like a ricotta bake that I want to make, and when I get to meat, I'm going to make pizza bakes and taco bakes. And
see, this is a guy that is turning lemons into lemonade right here. He can only eat so much stuff. He can only eat a certain consistency, and he's going to turn it into gourmet stuff. That is inspirational, boys and girls.
And you know,
yes, it is.
Regardless of any procedure that anybody's had done, you know, managing your portion size is a good thing, no matter your scenario.
Dude, it's changed my life. Are you kidding me? I used to eat like a huge meal once a day, and now I eat very small portions, about every 2.5 hours, and I dropped 50 pounds in friggin' 5 months.
Nice.
I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Just that and dropping sodas and drinking water.
Yeah.
Is how I did it.
I'm down to the 350s now.
Damn, dude. You go. Good. That was the whole point, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason why I had this procedure done.
Yeah.
But so
pretty soon once you start recovering from that, you can get some walking in, work up to a treadmill, and
well, I had I'm actually cleared for that. So starting Monday, I'm going back to the gym.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. You go, man. You and Ruben. Look at Ruben over here. He is over here pushing his stuff. After this show, come and hear about a miracle on my channel at 8 p.m. I will check it out, my friend. You guys got to support my Dick's Division brothers. Got to. No doubt. Come see him.
Yeah, but I have a new. I started a new.
You cut off. All I heard was you got to support my dicks. So.
No.
You got more than one?
Yeah. Very, very weird. What procedure did you have done?
You don't want to know. But anyway. No, I don't even know if Knock knows what I'm talking about. The Dick's Division is Comics Division has a channel, and the guys that hang out and are members of his channel, they're called the Dix Division. And yeah, Ruben and I are both part of Comics Dix Division. So,
well, I'm not on the show, but I'm like a channel member.
Yes, sir.
So.
That's right. Then you're part of the Dix Division, buddy.
Yep.
You can show up on the member stream. He'll let you know when it is. Just come on down. Matter of fact, I think we're having back-to-back ones. We had one Sunday night at 8:30, and we should be having another one this week. He said he was going to double up on them because he had to completely. He usually does it every 2 weeks, and he had to completely skip it 1 week. So he's doing them back to back this time around. But anyway, yeah, it's a fun bunch of guys. We have a blast. And if you guys don't watch Comics Division on Monday and Thursday nights, Yelling at Parked Cars, and Thursday Night Throwdown, dude, you're missing some funny shit. That show they had before the Oscars called the Jennifer Lawrence Awards. Oh my God, the J-Laws were fucking awesome. The She-Hulkies was good too. That one was last year.
One thing that Comics does.
I try and catch it after I'm on Brian's show, the Only Talk and Roll.
Right. That's Yelling at Parked Cars is more of a political show.
Yeah.
And Thursday Night Throwdown is more of the pop culture show. That's the one where they talk about what we're talking about tonight. So
one thing that Comics does, and a lot of people that are great communicators do this, he can take whatever you're thinking and he can boil it down into a 2 or 3 minute spiel in a better way than you could ever say it. Like he just does a great job in terms of, taking what we all have rattling around in our brains and
putting it in a Reader's Digest form that everybody can understand really fast. Yeah. He's a sharp cookie. That guy's pretty sharp. I met him in Dallas last June when they had the Dallas meetup. I'm hoping they have another one. They usually do it around the Fan Expo in Dallas, which is the big Comic-Con there, and that's when they usually do it. So I'm hoping they do it again. I'll be up there.
I'm only 6 or 10 hours from Dallas, so
yeah, man. We need look. I will let you guys know when it's gonna happen. I might even come out of pocket for a plane ticket for Knock if he wanted to come down there. Take a little time off, come down. So I found out, man, these plane tickets, if you order them in plenty of time, some of them are cheap. Just depends on where you're flying out of.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to get my daughter a round trip ticket for like just a little bit over $80 or something like that.
Man. But Joe, you got to specify the booze is not on you.
No, the booze is not on me. I'll fly him down here.
I heard you have Corona.
No. You buying your own Corona.
I could drink a plane ticket's worth of Corona.
Well, you don't have to worry about me drinking up your Corona.
No, I know that. I had way too many Coronas last time I was there. Good Lord. Because Rhonda, I love my wife to death, but man, she got me in trouble at that show. She got me a hotel room right around, I'm not shitting, on the same block as Gators where they had the meetup at. So I didn't have to drive. So
So
by the time I actually got to meet Gary, I was half in the bag, and I know he's an alcoholic, and I just walked up and said, "Hey, Gary, good to meet you," and ran off. I don't want him smelling all that booze on me.
Did you giggle like Stewart?
Oh, man.
Run away.
Oh, my God. I talked to comics for a little bit. I talked to what was funny was when Ripa showed up, because he showed up late, and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers hollers out, "Yeah, young Ripper's here," and the whole crowd rushed the front of the place. He couldn't get in. He got to the top of the stairs leading up to the place and parked it right there because they just formed a line immediately to talk to him. And he had his wife with him, and it was a fun night, man. It was a lot of fun. But those people that worked there were in no way ready for the crowd they had. They were not at all.
Imagine not.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it if they have one in Dallas this year. I hope they do. They should. Gary's living in San Antonio now, and Comics lives in Texas. I mean, half of them do. Friggin' Brahma Bulls in Texas.
Yeah. Eric July. Yep.
Eric July is right there in Dallas. Yeah. I mean, he probably left the gym and showed up over there. You know him. You better be in the gym. Or you're wrong.
Do like it when whenever someone on Twitter goes after him and he says, I don't care what someone that looks like you tells me what I should be doing, and it's it's some sort of purple-haired freakish looking person.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna take advice from you. Yeah.
No thanks. Yeah, he's the greatest at. He really is. I enjoy because he. You've heard me say it several times. Censorship is not the answer. It's free speech. Turn on the light. Watch the cockroach run when you actually expose them, and he will bring them on his radio show. Yeah. What you want to talk about, man? And as soon as they slip up, he's on it like a damn pit bull. He just, okay, what did you just say? So you're saying this.
Also,
he is great at debate, man. He's awesome.
He'll let them just hang out there for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even after he's already taken them out, he leaves the carcass, on the phone. Just
he doesn't kick him off.
He's already eviscerated them. Yeah.
Well, what else you got, man? You know, he's great. There's another guy.
All right, fellas, I have to cut out a little early tonight.
You got to go. Okay.
Head out.
Well, you take it easy, Knoxter.
Yep, I'll be listening.
Okay.
I got to get off the airways here.
Okay, man. You take it easy.
Right.
Thanks for coming, man.
Good night, Knock.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.
But that's somebody that's inspirational to me personally, because I'm doing my own thing because of guys like him. Guys like him, and even Ethan Van Shriver and John Malick, and there's a bunch of them out there that Mandy Summers. I mean, these guys are inspiring me to go ahead and do my own thing. That plus the fact that I lost my manufacturing job and I've got a lot more time on my hands now too. So,
well,
I mean, when you're in the constant daily grind of a job, sometimes all you want to do is just unplug when you get home,
True.
But now I'm raring to go. I'm out of that mess. So
now that Knox gone, we can talk football.
Yeah, right. We can talk football now. We can talk about Bronco smashing. Yeah. Let me show you this other one where Steve ripped them up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you guys watching on the streaming services right now? What on that list are you into right now?
Well, I'm behind on it, but 1923, even though it's ended, I'm trying to keep up with that.
Ron says he hates us all. Yeah, Knock, we love you too, man. No doubt. But 1923, the prequel.
It's one of the Sheridan shows, and it's really good.
Yeah. Did you watch what was it?
1883? No, this is the first Taylor Sheridan show I've watched.
Okay.
So I've never seen Yellowstone. I've never seen 1883.
What drew you to that one in particular? Was it Harrison Ford?
No, well, Helen Mirren actually.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
no doubt.
I had in the early 80s, she was my first real celebrity crush from
Speaking of
Excalibur.
Helen Mirren,
makes sense.
I happen to know on good authority that Monday night you saw Shazam.
Yes, I did.
Is it worth seeing? Without spoilers, just give us your opinion of it.
It's okay. I mean, it's not a bad movie by any, in my opinion. It's a fun movie. But the problem is it's colored by the fact that that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Well, that's for us. I mean, if my wife were to go see it, would she enjoy it?
Yeah.
If the normie goes see it,
the normies would generally enjoy it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, my brother went and saw it, and he said the last 20 minutes was cool.
Yeah,
that was the only comment he made. The last 20 minutes was cool. I personally like Zachary Levi. I like that guy. I think he's pretty cool.
I've heard he's pretty based.
Is he?
That's what I hear.
I'm not surprised because the movie he was in where he plays Kurt Warner, that was made by a religious filmmaking company. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same bunch that makes all the Kirk Cameron movies.
Yeah.
You know, so that I'm not surprised by that one bit.
So that they filmed some of the Kelsey Grammer Christian movie that came out last month.
Yeah.
They filmed some of the scenes at the church I go to. So.
Yeah.
Shazam.
He was Knock was asking if you should wait until streaming. Now it comes out on the 18th of April on streaming.
Okay.
I got to see it for free, so because of that huge mix up with the when I went to see Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So
now Dungeons and Dragons comes out
the 31st
next weekend, right? Yeah. Not this weekend, but next weekend.
No, this weekend's John Wick Chapter 4.
Right. John Wick shooting everybody in the world for 3 hours this time.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Now I'm not going to go opening weekend. I'm going to go on the Tuesday $5 show because it doesn't make any sense for me to spend a lot of money to, because I need to save money where I can,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
so
man.
$5 is a lot different than $10.
Well, I can't even go see it yet. Me and Foxy haven't seen Parabellum yet.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I need to see that one because that's got one of my hall pass chicks on it, man. Holly Berry. I gotta go see that, dude. I love that chick. Even though she's nuts by all accounts, from what I understand, she's completely crazy. But yeah, she's fine. I love her. But yeah, I got to catch up on that before I can see John Wick. I was just wondering about that one. Let's see. Knox saying might have to do a double feature, Dungeons and Dragons and Wick. Oh, there you go, man.
Interesting.
There you go. I've told you this before. I'm not really looking forward to Dungeons and Dragons, but I saw somebody talking about it the other day that had seen it and said that if you were a fan of that game, you would probably dig the movie because it's got that kind of craziness in it. So yeah. So and that's the thing. That's the thing that I always thought maybe they should like have the characters be, start the movie with the players around the table with the pewter figures, and the graph paper for mapping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then have them go into their characters and then tell the story, you know what I mean? To give it that kind of perspective, if you understand what I'm saying.
That'd be kind of cool, yeah.
Because some crazy shit happens in Dungeons and Dragons games. I mean, I haven't played it in years, but I mean, I'll never forget my buddy Mark sitting there and we walked in a room, had these giant rats. The fucking guy running the dungeon had a room full of giant rats. So he was amazed. He goes, "Okay, I put them all to sleep," and he was successful doing it. Right? He goes, "Okay, now we set all their balls on fire. Okay, now I wake them up." I was like, "What?" Only some crazy ass drunk dude could come up with some shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the kind of craziness I think should be in that kind of movie, But anyway, let's see. E. Clay Thomas says most hot chicks are crazy. Yeah. We know all about the hot crazy matrix.
Yep.
Maybe
there's a chart there.
Yep. Would I get in trouble for showing that? Because I'd love to show that.
It's sort of like the F around and find out chart.
That's it. It's the F around and find out chart. I just caught a glimpse of that one the other day. I'm gonna have to watch that whole video. That's funny, man. My God, the hot crazy matrix. What is the guy's name that does that video? Oh my God, that guy is awesome. Let's see. I may have to show this. Have you seen it, John?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. Well, we got to watch it now. The hot crazy matrix, man, is awesome. Let's see. Hot crazy.
There certainly is some validity to that, though.
Dude, I was a bartender for 18 years. I've got 2 ex-wives, married to a third, and I'm telling you, it is 100% true.
So you're saying if your tenant bar and a absolute smoke show walks in there, that
you better watch it.
She may be a little off.
Oh my God! Hang on. Let's see. Where is it?
While you're looking for that, I've been watching Mandalorian season 3.
I've been watching that.
seen the 3 of the first 4 episodes. John, you say you had been watching it?
Yeah, I've been watching it. Same thing with Picard.
Yep. And the first 3 episodes I thought were okay. It is interesting with that episode 3 of Mando. It reminded me of what they did with Book of Boba Fett, where they had a couple middle episodes where they went off and followed the Mandalorian. So, in those 2 Mandalorian episodes of Book of Boba Fett may have been the best 2 of that whole season. And
I wouldn't know. I didn't finish watching it, so
I saw somebody made a poster for Book of Boba Fett season 2, and it's got Mace Windu in it.
Yeah, I don't think that season's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I mean, it's somebody made that poster that's got Mace Windu and Boba Fett in it, and I'm like,
you're talking about the Book of Boba Fett 2?
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
It's a fan poster somebody made. I haven't heard that they're actually going to do it.
Ron Phillips says, as a game master, I would mess with the group by having a huge, scary castle with massive walls, and while they look for a way in, but the front door is open the whole time.
Done that.
Man, that's
I've done
fun.
that.
Oh my
I've
God.
done that.
That's awesome. That
trying to find a way into this manor house and the front doors.
Knock half the time is trolling people. I'm telling you. He's a master at it. He's a master. Okay, here we go. John, you are going to get a kick out of this, and you're going to find that it's absolutely true. The Hot Crazy Matrix. Tactical Response. That's who does this. Yes, they're great.
Hey everybody, James Yeager here with Tactical Response, and I got the terrorist mouthpiece with me. This is go introduce yourself.
I'm Dana McClendon. I am the consigliere to the Camden Mafia and the terrorist mouthpiece.
But what are we going to talk about? What are you going to talk about today?
Today's lesson it's a little off the beaten path of tactical response, but it's still something that you can use every day. This is the Hot Crazy Matrix. It's what you need to know about how to deal with women and how to analyze the situation that you may be in or want to be in.
Okay, let's take a look at that right now.
Okay, so this is the Universal Hot Crazy Matrix. It's everything a young man needs to know about women. I've developed this on my own over 46 years of living on. So this is how it works.
I feel like I'm getting advice from Clark Howard.
You know it,
man.
You
have your crazy axis and your hot axis. Hot is, as usual, measured from 0 to 10. We're all familiar with that. Crazy is measured from 4 to 10 because, of course, there's no such thing as a woman who's not at least a 4 crazy. So you got 4 to 10.
I love it.
This is your hot crazy line right here. Very important that you keep in mind where the hot crazy line is. As a rule, this is your no-go zone. We do not hang around and date and marry women who are not, at least in our mind, a 5. So this is your no-go zone. You don't go here. We just rule this out. Life is better this way. That's the way it is. All right. Above a 5 and to about an 8 and below the crazy line, this is your fun zone. You can hang out here and meet these girls and spend time with them. That's your fun zone. But keep in mind, when you're in the fun zone, you want to move out of the fun zone to a more permanent location. Okay. So that's the fun zone. Above a 5, hot. Below an 8, hot. And below the crazy line. This means these are most of the time not crazy. Okay. Above the danger zone, above the crazy line, we have the danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is hairdressers. This is where your car gets keyed. You get a bunny in the pot. Your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail. Now that we have some of the chart filled in, we got a couple more pieces to put in. But at this point, understand something. This is not a static environment. This is a situation where you have got to use this matrix over time to develop some reliable data. It's like a dope chart. Okay. Because at any moment in time, any woman that you have previously located on this chart can vanish from that location and appear anywhere else on the chart.
Absolutely.
So what you have to do is over time,
anybody
collect some
that
data.
has been to a Clash
Once you have a
reunion
cluster
can
of
testify
data
to
points,
that.
you can begin to consider that reliable. Now, moving on, you have this zone here. This is below the crazy line, above an 8 hot, but still, about a 7 crazy. This is your date zone. You can stay in the date zone indefinitely. These are women that you introduce to your friends and your family. They're good looking and they're reasonably not crazy most of the time. Okay, so you can stay here indefinitely. Now, above an 8 hot and between about a 7 and a 5 crazy, this is your wife zone. Okay, when you meet this girl, you should consider a long-term relationship.
I think I know where this is going.
This zone is not scaled to size. This is a representation and not an actual. This is not a pie chart showing you how many of these people are out there. This is simply a representation of what you're after. You want to be 5 to 7 crazy, above an 8 hot. That's your wife's zone. Okay. Now, below a 5 crazy and above an 8 hot, this is your unicorn zone. These things don't exist. If you find a unicorn, please capture it safely, keep it alive. We'd like to study it and maybe look at how to replicate that. Okay. So I was explaining this to a guy one time and he said, wait a minute. I met this girl and she's like smoking hot. She's like at least a 9 and she's chill. She's totally cool. She's like not even a 3 crazy. I said, you're telling me you've met a girl, she's a 9 hot, and she's like a 2 or a 3 crazy. He said, yeah, man, I like her a lot. I said, you should be careful. That's a dude. You're talking to a tranny. So you got to be careful because down here below a 4 crazy and above an 8 hot, you're probably talking to a dude. That is the universal hot crazy matrix.
Nice. That guy would get canceled.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't been taken off the internet yet.
Oh man, come on, bro. It's perfect.
I agree. It's just
they've got a female one too.
Yeah.
They've got a female one too. Oh my God, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I saw that years ago, man. That's been up for a while. I'd have to go back and pull it back up. I already closed it, but
everything that's funny has at least a grain of truth in it.
A grain of truth in it. I'm telling you. Oh my God, man. Yeah. I would say it's all true, man. It's all true. I'm totally down with the one. It took me 3 times to get it right, but I found one in the wife zone. So hey, works for me. But anyway, yeah. They have one. I think there's a female one, but it's really the matrix for them is like money and looks is theirs. It's not. It has nothing to do with crazy. It's money. They replaced the crazy one with money. And if it's all the way 10 with the money, doesn't matter what the looks are, right?
There was one other thing I wanted to mention in terms of shows I'm currently watching. We're now 30 episodes. Yeah, I think 30 episodes into the Bad Batch between the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And Omega, the girl clone, which somehow is a girl that was cloned from a male bounty hunter DNA. I don't understand it. But anyway, she's still perfect. So after 30 episodes, still no mistakes by Omega. Still just,
I thought she messes up all the time.
Mary's suing it up.
Is she? Okay.
I thought she messes up all the time. I saw the first season and she messed up all the time.
Let me rephrase that. She always comes out as like the hero or having to save the guys, or I guess that's more what I'm meaning. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. So she's Rey.
Yep. She did almost crash a their ship in this last episode, but she pulled the yoke up at the last minute, so we're good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I haven't watched any of that show. It's animated, right?
Yeah,
it is animated. There was one thing I didn't like in the most recent episode, that the scene where she is flying their ship, and it's just like a training exercise. At one point, she talks about how she's going to go to port.
Mm-hmm.
She turns right, and
oh man.
Again, it's a small thing. It's a kid show, but the writers, there could be a little more attention
Accurate.
to detail.
Well,
There.
Knock likes it. He said Bad Batch is awesome. I haven't seen it, but
It-
I like the
it's-
premise. If it
it's
was a
better than
live
Book of
action
Boba
show, I'd
Fett.
probably watch it.
Yeah,
You know.
it's better than Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi.
I haven't seen the episode. Yeah, I haven't started the season yet, but I've been hearing good things about Superman Lois.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about? Has anybody heard anything about the final season of Flash? Because I gave up on that show.
I haven't even started that yet.
No. Knock probably hasn't seen it either. He waits until the CW shows are done and then binge watches them. I think that's his mantra.
Well, they're talking about Superman and Lois getting 2 or 3 more seasons.
Really?
At least 1 or 2. It's gonna be. I know they're getting next season is 4.
He said he's working on it, working on the Flash. Yep.
And if 4 does well, they'll probably get at least 5.
Okay. Well, getting back to the Bad Batch real quick, I gotta say, my wife and I yesterday, of course, Tuesdays are the day that Rhonda and I go to the gym. As soon as I get off work, we go to the gym. We do Taco Tuesday. We go to one of our favorite Mexican places. There's several around here we go eat at, and then we go shopping. It's our night to just unplug from everything and go do shit with just us, right?
Yeah.
And everywhere we went, they had TNT on, which I don't know if you knew this or not, but they were showing the Disney trilogy yesterday on TNT. When we were on the treadmills, I noticed Last Jedi was on. And then when we got home, Rise of Skywalker was on, right? And we got to talking about when she sat down, because we were seeing the part where Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting, I guess teleport style, where she's in his actual quarters on the ship and he's down on the planet surface, that part. And we were talking about it, and I said, they had so many missed opportunities, man. I mean, I thought Kylo Ren was a great character. I thought they really created a great bad guy there. I really didn't have a problem with Rey, other than the fact that they didn't even develop her character at all. She was already like a plug and play character, but I said, the biggest crime is Finn. They really dropped the ball on that, because they actually had an ex-stormtrooper running with them. The closest they've had to that is Han Solo. He was a military officer at one time. They didn't really tell you that in the show. I mean, you had to read that in the lore, but they had an actual ex-stormtrooper in the story. That could have been great,
Well, and they didn't know what to do with Rose Tico either.
No, they didn't. And that was a cool setup. That they set it up pretty cool, with that bombing run and everything with her sister. But wow, so many blown opportunities with that series, man. They just, wow. I don't know what they were shooting for in that.
The fact that you never had Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford on the screen together.
On the screen at the same time is criminal. Chris Gore has said that a couple, more than a few times, and that's a fact.
That's taking $500 million extra you could have made.
Right.
It away.
Yeah. That's $500 million you lost by not doing that. You know, I mean, everybody got mad because Han Solo got killed, and I'm like, they're old folks. We're supposed to be concentrating on new characters. But you're right. In the first one, they should have had all 3 of them together at some point in the show. And I saw a meme, the final scene when we see Luke, when he turns around, and I saw that picture and it said hide and seek champion. What was it, like 1983 through 2000, whatever year that first one came out, 2014, hide and seek champion.
Knox, worse than talking football, you're talking Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's see. Knox says, I watch CW shows in order of release, so I'm bouncing around to each series as if they were when they first aired each. Okay, I got you. Yeah, because a lot of them intertwine. That's a good way to do it. A lot of them intertwine. E. Clay Thomas says, do they put that on to make you leave faster? What's he talking about there? I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
And he said, knock, worse than talking football, talking Star Wars. I'm sorry, man. You're the one that had to leave. Sorry about that. You know,
I'm still irritated with The Last Jedi. I mean, it was an ego trip by Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't even want to acknowledge the fact that it was part of a continuum of movies that had come before it. He just wanted to do his own thing, make the characters be whatever he wanted to make them be. I say that maybe it was Lawrence Kasdan's son that was writing. That whoever was involved with the writing, Rian Johnson, it seemed like he just kind of went with it and did not do a good job of making it fit in with the other movies, in my opinion.
No, he did not pay attention to the lore. There is no doubt.
And the way Luke went out, I mean,
yeah, overdosing on the Force. Is that what he did?
Yeah, like a Force Zoom call. But he, Mark Hamill.
Okay, that's what it was.
What is it?
Said you had The Last Jedi on where you were at. I thought maybe they put that on to make people leave faster.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no, it was at the gym, and they just, they had TNT on, and they were showing it. That's it.
I just like the fact that Mark Hamill, and this may have been even when he was doing press for the movie, he said something. He referred to his character basically as Jake Skywalker.
Yeah.
He said, "This, I don't know who this is. It's not Luke. It's Jake Skywalker, I guess."
Right. Knox says, I liked Last Jedi. Haha. He killed Snoke. Worst bad guy ever. I have made the argument in the past. It's not my favorite movie. I didn't think it was as bad as everybody thought, but this is one thing that I've always told Star Wars fans, and I don't know if many of them pick up on it. When Kylo Ren killed Snoke and turned right around and said, Rey, come with me, in that moment, he became more powerful than his grandfather. And his whole motivation was to measure up to his grandfather. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because his grandfather, when he killed the Emperor, was turning to the good side. He wasn't trying to take over as the Sith Lord. He was trying to save his son. Right?
Yeah.
Friggin' Kylo Ren straight up murdered his mentor and then friggin' was looking for his apprentice right then. We saw what we had heard about throughout the lore, right? We saw the Sith Lord kill his master and look for a new apprentice right then. I always thought that was lost on Star Wars fans, but I understand the argument about Luke's character not being good. The only defense for it I've heard that even made any sense is what happens to most of the old Jedis? They end up in a cave somewhere hiding out, don't they? And that's what he was doing.
Well, now, in fairness,
I'm just saying, I'm pulling the knock here. I'm being the opposition kind of thing. Yeah. What were you saying, John? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying that, to be fair, a lot of that hiding out was because of Order 66 and the Empire hunting them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In Luke's case, what they were trying to say was he gave up on everything.
Yeah.
Because he basically was Cartman. I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
Yeah.
You will respect my authority. Yeah, that's not Luke. That definitely is not Luke. No doubt about it.
With Order 66,
you will respect my authority.
That's it.
With Order 66, you would think it took out almost every Jedi, but reading the expanded universe, I keep finding more and more Jedi.
There's more and more Jedis out there.
Yeah.
And I always, and people are like, hey, didn't they kill them all? I'm like, no, there's no way they knew where all of them were. There's no way, So, yeah, I have no problem with other ones popping up. Knox says there's an argument that Kyle and Snake Not really big Sith. Okay.
Yeah, I could see them not being.
Okay.
I could see that.
I think he meant Snoke, but yeah,
Yeah.
not really big Sith. Well, there's no argument there. Apparently, he was a meat puppet. It was actually Palpatine the whole time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
Reanimated
no
Palpatine
argument.
at that.
There is no argument. It's the truth. Haven't you seen the Rise of Skywalker? The worst Star Wars movie ever made. I used to think
Rise of Palpatine.
I used to think that nothing would. He says autocorrect. Yeah. I used to think that Attack of the Clones was the worst one that was ever made. I didn't think it would get any worse than that. And by the way, let me make a suggestion to you guys. Don't watch Rise of Skywalker. Watch Mauler and Rise of Skywalker and Unbridled Rage, and you will enjoy it a lot more. Trust me.
Yep.
It's longer than that movie is, but it's awesome.
There was no way Rise of Skywalker could be good. The
No.
first two movies put it in a position to where it
After
could not
what
be a good
Ryan
movie.
Johnson did, there was no way. Yeah, and it turned out to be. I think it was the Critical Drinker that said it best. He said it was like watching two kids fight over toys in a sandbox, but the sandbox is worth $2 billion.
Yep. It was also the type of movie where it really didn't satisfy your modern audience woke crowd nor the old crowd. Like it tried to satisfy everybody and it ended up not satisfying anybody. The only thing I liked about it, there's a cameo by Wedge Antilles. I did enjoy that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yes. But let me tell you, when she pulls this knife out and matches up the edge of the knife with the location of this damn thing, and we're talking about something that is getting beat down by some of the worst fucking ocean I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Some of the most lashing waves that would just destroy anything.
For over 30
but it
years.
matched up perfectly. I was like, guys, you are pulling shit out of your ass. What are you doing? This is silly. You know?
That was like something out of Indiana Jones or out of that genre of movie.
Which is not this. No. You know? Hey, Penny, what's going on?
Hey,
You're
Penny.
catching us right at the end. We're fixing to sign out of here. Well, with that note, we don't want to talk too much more Star Wars without Knock here because, he'll have FOMO. He won't be able to sleep. He'll be begging us all to get back on stream so he can make his point. But let's find out where you guys are going to be. Let's see. Hang on. Knox says, I've been rereading the X-Wing series with Wedge. Oh, awesome, man. That sounds awesome. I never read them, but I heard good things about them. And Penny says, just got home. Well, that's fine, darling. You can watch the replay. Actually, hang on. Let me find that comment. Where is it? You can watch the replay later, but at 8 o'clock, you've got to help out Ruben. After this show, go watch Ruben. Come hear about the miracle on my channel. 8 p.m., he says. Yes. I always support Ruben. He's awesome. So, starting with my man, Small Time Republic. Tell them where they can find you, bro.
You can find me here most every Wednesday night. And the main thing that I do want to give a shout out to is the fact that we've been talking about Star Wars. There is an expanded universe author named Michael Reeves who wrote 9 adult novels, and he wrote a couple of Ewoks and droid cartoon episodes from the 80s. He passed away. He was 72, 73, somewhere. He was born in 1950, so I think he was 72.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, passed away on Monday. So rest in peace, Michael Reeves.
All right.
I read some of his stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, John, tell them where you're going to be at, man.
Well, this is a long list.
Go, man.
Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central. You can find me on Pop Culture Minefield. Also, Friday and Saturday, you can find me on the same channel at 1 p.m. Central. And at 1 p.m. Central on Sunday, I'm behind the scenes trying to give Danny grief for the Dork Side of the Ring Wrestling show, also on Pop Culture Minefield. Monday nights, you can find me on that 70s Rock Fans channel on It's Only Talk and Roll. And on Wednesday nights, you can find me here.
And there you have it, man. And you're doing good, dude. You're looking good. Glad to see things are turning around for you. That's great. Boys and girls, it's good to see all of you. Thanks for coming in tonight. Let's let you know what's going on with the channel. We got, of course, you're watching State of the Atmosfere. We do this every Wednesday at 5:30 Central. And then later on tonight, about 8 o'clock, here in about, 9 o'clock. I start at 9. What am I thinking 8 for? That's weird. In about an hour and a half, you can see me on Twitch doing my video gaming thing, Pop Joe Gamer After Dark, with a few video games, cocktails, and fails. I play 3 different games. I change them every hour and have a little shot and see what's going on with the chat. It's my way of keeping my fingers in my video games. And then, of course, Thursday, you can watch me and my brother hack the Matrix. We get together and we go through today's headlines and hack through that Matrix and let you know what's really going on behind the scenes. And that's every Thursday night at 6. That time has changed. It is at 6 o'clock every Thursday now. And then, of course, on Saturdays, you can watch me plot the pages of the Privateer. Going to do page 10 this weekend. Be halfway done with issue 2, plotting the pages of that. My man, Just Fire Jim, is there to help me co-pilot. And last week we had it live from Shop Till You Drop, but this week I'll be back to work on the comic book. And then, of course, you've got Dork Side of the Ring on Sundays with me and Das Wolfen running the show. And the Dork Knight is the main host over there. And I do a section called State of the Apron. And it's all about the smaller promotions, indie promotions and stuff. And that's all brought to you at 1 o'clock Central Time every Sunday afternoon by Pop Culture Minefield and KGRA Digital Broadcasting. And Sunday night Comics Division, the Dix Division, if you will, is going to be having their member stream. Usually starts about 8, but he started it a half an hour late last week. But it's usually it'll be 8 or 8:30 Central Time, and then right back around to State of the Atmosphere on Wednesdays. So, for my friends, Matt from Small Time Republic, John Das Wolfen, I want to thank you guys for being here. And until we see you again, I want you to keep on keeping on. And I'm going to find the video I need. I know I am. See ya.